What's the best question someone asked in sex ed? We had this mildly autistic kid in our class. Super happy, nice, upbeat and everything, always volunteered, a really nice kid. During class when we were being taught how to put a condom on and the instructor asked for a volunteer. No surprise, he volunteers. He saunters up to the front, grabs the condom, starts to unwrap it and asks, "So do I eat it now?" and moves to put the condom in his mouth. The instructor was like, "No Aaron, please put it on the banana," and very visibly trying to hold back a laugh. Blows out the other side of the condom and walks back to his seat with the ripped condom on the banana and keeps it for the rest of class while everyone tries their hardest to not to fall into hysterics. The teacher took it back at the end of class. If my dick is long enough, can it puncture a girl's stomach through vaginal intercourse and murder her? Yes. But only if the head is filed to a point. Can I give myself an STD from masturbating? Technically, I guess you could if you used a sex toy that someone else has recently used. Do girls have butt hair? If you're having anal sex with a girl and she farts, will your testicles explode? What do boobs taste like? Answer: lick the back of your hand. I disagree. Boobs taste like victory. Girl: if you put cum in your hair, does it make it shinier? Teacher: what boy told you that? Not a question, but our vice principal came in to talk to us, and the extent of his safe sex talk was that he washed his dick in the sink before sex, which none of us really needed to know. Wouldn't have been so bad, but it was in the middle of a math class. How come every time I ejaculate my balls shrivel up like a frightened turtle? Can you actually stick your dick in an ear and have ear sex? You know, like in Family Guy. When I was in 7th grade sex ed, one of the female teachers jokingly said that they wanted to sew up their daughter's vagina to keep them from getting pregnant. My response was to raise my hand and ask, "But how would they pee?" One of the most popular girls in the grade responded, "Wrong hole." And that's how I learned that girls have 3 holes. Men have 2. This was an auditorium discussion with my entire grade of 300-ish people. I spent the next 5 years with them. Never came up. But I've never forgotten. I like to think I helped all the other guys realize something. Can you get pregnant from swallowing? Or do twins happen because of a threesome? Optimum has some explaining to do. Can the nipple be bigger than the boob? Dear Lord, can it? This is less of a question, but my teacher gave the go-ahead for people to ask whatever question they want before the class started. One person in the back timidly puts their hand up and says, "So I just heard this as a rumor, and I don't know if it's true, it might not be, but someone told me that if you don't masturbate before the age of 18 you explode." You do, just not in the way you think. Wasn't in sex ed, but maybe it was asked because we didn't have it at my Catholic school. Psychology teacher: does anyone know what a Freudian slip is? Student: isn't that when the penis slips into the girl's butthole on accident? In 4th grade they separated all the boys and girls into 2 separate classrooms for the old talk. They presented some diagrams. Obviously there were chuckles around the room and questions were asked like, how did Freddie Mercury die? After they realized that many of the students thought the entire escapade was a joke, our teacher asked us to write down any additional questions we might have and to pass them forward. I'm guessing as to not waste time entertaining us street-smart children. The first question read aloud, "What's a boner?" And I'll never forget this kid that always got picked on immediately sighed and embarrassingly exclaimed, "I didn't know you'd read it out loud." Shit was so classic. When the teacher was talking about infertility, someone asked if 2 infertile people can make a baby because negative x negative equals positive. That's what you get for scheduling sex ed right after math. So let's say you go to the bathroom and hold a girl's hand, can they get pregnant then? 100% serious question. Teacher: anytime semen enters the vagina, the woman is at risk of pregnancy. Kid: what if she is on birth control? Teacher: there is still a risk. Kid: what if you're having sex and then you released your semen into one girl's mouth and then she passes it into another girl's mouth and then they spit it into each other's vaginas? Can they both get pregnant? Teacher: quote, there is still a risk. Is it okay to let my buddy use the same condom after I do? This is the question that should have been asked before a kid actually did it and was later stuck with a child support case with his buddy's girlfriend. The story as heard it. Two young couples were having a good time with their SOs but only had one condom. The first guy safely finishes the deed with his girl, then gives the used rubber to his buddy, who turns it inside out and proceeds with his girl. Safe. Right. I wish I could believe that nobody is that stupid. I wish. Do black people have black cum? Is a crisp packet and an elastic band a good substitute for a condom? If a girl has her nipples pierced, does the milk come out like a sprinkler? I'm legitimately wondering that now. Can we get a demonstration? Johnny, that's a very inappropriate question. Meet me after class. I need to talk to you. Porno starts. The kid is very clearly 30. I went to a Catholic, all-boys, high school. We used to have sex ed taught to us by our gym instructor, who was also a football coach. He used to leave a question box on his desk, and anyone that wanted to ask an anonymous question could write it on a piece of paper, fold it up and put it in the box. At the beginning of every class he would randomly select 3 questions out of the box to read. We had all sorts of the normal questions. Can girls get pregnant from anal? How old should I be before I have sex? But the best instance is when he pulled a paper out and read, "Without hesitation, sir, you're cute." Class died laughing. Do you put the balls in? Do guys have to wear pads just in case they ejaculate? 7th grade sex ed. Yes. I asked that question. I have no shame. Why does it hurt when you get shampoo in your dick hole? The kid had a solid question. Where does the penis bone go after your boner goes away? The penis bone goes back home to Penn Island, where it waits in its little cave until you get another boner. It will come again. Last semester, my financial management teacher was also the sex ed teacher. He was going through the questions and answers he had on his computer while our class was working on some finance project. His computer was connected to the smart board. I briefly looked up from my paper and saw on the smart board what is penis. It was pretty hilarious when everybody saw it while they totally weren't expecting it, cause it was finance class. In HS, my sex ed teacher was talking about the different ways people have sex. And she got to oral. She went on to tell the class that men's ejaculate is a mixture of proteins and sugars. My classmate asked, "So is it like?" My teacher was half a second from answering till she got red. She was a fairer-skinned black lady in the face and just chose to not answer at all. Boy, I'd have died if she did though. One student asked, "Why is anal sex a turn-on for lots of guys but not so much for girls?" So we were learning about where AIDS came from, and how people first got it when they ate monkeys. So this one kid raises his hand and asks, "Do monkeys taste good?" Yes. Next question. If I am in a hot tub with a guy and he ejaculates, can I get pregnant? Teacher: No. Okay, what if I'm in a hot tub with 50 guys and they all ejaculate at the exact same time? Then can I get pregnant? Teacher: What? Can you use a Dorito bag as a condom? It was STD day in our sex ed class. To really scare us into abstinence, the teacher passed around pictures of affected genitalia. One picture in particular sparked the question from one of my classmates. EWW, what turned this one black? The guy who had just handed it to her explained for everyone to hear. Haley, that is a black guy's dick. Sex ed teacher: sex is not the same thing as love. You love your mom, right? Student: I love my dog. So the sex ed teacher told us that after a vasectomy a guy still has something like 80 loads still active in him. My buddy looks over at the other teacher and says, I can knock that out in a weekend. We lost it. Why do flavored condoms exist? Because vaginas have taste buds. Does a longer penis mean more chance of conception because the sperm has less distance to travel? Saw this on a different thread, but I think the consensus was that penis length was insignificant compared to ejaculation force. The teacher was discussing foreplay when one of the students asked, "Does heavy petting make the pussy purr? If you do it right, it also drools." Teacher: So all mammals have nipples? but the ones on men are basically superfluous. Now, mammals don't always have 2. Dogs, for example, have 7. Student raises hand. Oh, is that why they can hear so well? Stunned silence. This is real life. This is also the stupidest thing I have ever heard anyone on this planet say. A friend of mine asked if he could eat cheese while having sex. The teacher just looked at him, paused for a bit, contemplated what she had done wrong her whole life to have reached that precise moment and told him yes. So you grew up in Wisconsin. I actually got something. In class we were going over the sperm and the journey to the egg, and one of the reasons the sperm has difficulty to accomplish that was due to the acid inside the vagina. So I raised my hand and asked, well, if the vagina has acid, why don't girls' fingers get burned off? The whole class started laughing and the teacher, which was a guy, had to catch his breath. And that's when I learned about chemistry and the different levels of acid and base. Kid: why do people make noise moan while, Teacher: why do people go when they enjoy their morning cereal? I just remember the class freaking out. Male student: I heard cum tastes like almonds. Female teacher: I don't know, I never had almonds. Nearly shat my pants. Best question from my 7th grade sex ed class: if I go in the bathroom and jerk off, then touch the doorknob to get out of the bathroom, then my mom touches the doorknob while going into the bathroom and fingers herself, can I get her pregnant? The fear in his eyes was palpable.